Hi everyone, I'm Clem and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the Reputation book tag. So this book tag was created after Reputation came out by Sarah's Bookshelves. I'm going to link her channel down below, don't worry if you want to go check the original one. So basically what she did is that she associated each 15 songs of the album with a question, and now I'm going to answer those questions. So the first question is Ready for It? A 2019 release you are ready for. So the book I picked is Enchantée by Gita Trelease. I think that's how you say her last name, I hope. And this book is coming out on the 5th of February. And basically it's happening in France during the French Revolution, so in the 18th century, at the end of the 18th century. And we're following Camille. And Camille can do magic. We're in a world where magic exists, but she's doing good magic, like she can transform metal into gold. But one day her power doesn't work anymore and she's forced to go to the court of the king at Versailles. And from then on a lot of things happen and she's doing bad magic or stuff like that, and she's experiencing the life at the court and she likes it, and then she meets a guy and some other things. I know it's not clear, but as usual, but this book really sounds amazing and I'm super happy to read a book that's happening during a very important element of my country's history, like the French Revolution. It's one of the most important events in our history, so I'm really excited to see that. I love this period and I love Versailles and everything, so I'm really excited about that. The second question is Endgame. Character that either should have been Endgame or should not have been Endgame. So I'm going to go with a couple who wasn't Endgame but for a specific reason, and it's happening in Champion by Mary Lou. So if you haven't read this book, go away because I'm going to spoil it. So yeah, I'm talking about June and Day in this book because at the end of Champion, Day doesn't remember June because he lost his memories. And so June still remembers him, but they can't be together because he doesn't know who she is. And that's really tragic because at the very end, Day was away and he came back to the city and June meets with him and she's so happy to see him, but he doesn't know who she is and it's so heartbreaking. So yeah, they should have been Endgame because they went through so much and they are absolutely cute together. I love them so much and they're not Endgame, and that makes me really sad. Question 3 is I did something bad. A character decision that was terrible but you kept reading anyway. So for this I picked the latest in date, and it is in Queen of Air in Darkness by Cassandra Clare. And here I'm talking about Julian's decision to erase his emotion, like to get rid of them. This was really a terrible decision and it was really painful to read about it because it was completely empty. It was just like a shell without feelings and without any emotions, and it was really a fool to read about it, especially with Emma, because Emma still loved him, but he was really a bitch and he acted like a huge bastard at some point. He killed people, like it was awful, but I kept reading it because first it was the last book and I wanted to know what would happen, but also because it was really interesting to see this part of Julian, because throughout the series we've always seen him being really strong and really kind and caring about everyone, so it was really interesting to see this dark side of him. Question 4 is Don't Blame Me, a book or a series you are shamelessly addicted to. So for this I'm not really addicted, like I don't really have a shameful series I'm addicted to. The only one that could work for this is the Selection series by Kiera Cass, because it's really cheesy and a bit old now if you think about it, but I still really enjoy reading about it. I still enjoy reading those books. Like I reread them last year I think and I loved it so much. It's just really cheesy, but I love the love story in this. It's just everything I like. So does it count? I don't know, but that's what I picked. Question 5 is Delicate. A book that had a bad reputation but that you enjoyed. Here I picked The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey, and this book is hated by most of the people like I know. On Goodreads or on Twitter or everywhere on BookTube, I see people like who didn't like this book, like I don't know what's the problem with this book. I understand that the way, for example, Cassie's point of view is wrote and the love story is really not well done, like it's not the best thing I've read, but the stories in itself is just freaking amazing. The first one was good, the second one was mind-blowing, I loved it so much, and the last one made me cry like a baby. Okay, so I really enjoyed this book, but people don't, and I feel very alone. So if you like this book, please tell me in the comments so I can have friends with whom I can talk about this book. Question 6 is Look What You Made Me Do, a book that BookTube made you read. So here I picked The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. So even if now it is one of my favorite series, at first I didn't want to read those books. So it was mainly because I wasn't really interested in the story, and mainly because actually I didn't really know what the story was about. And when I found out the story, I was like, oh, I need to read those books, they sound amazing. I love fairy tales and this sounds really everything I'm looking for. So I want to give away one day, and I asked for Thor Cinder, and I read it and I loved it, and I basically learned about the story and got interested in those books because a lot of people used to talk about it on Goodreads and on BookTube, so eventually I started taking an interest in those books and I loved it. Question 7. So It Goes. A book you read but you can't remember anything about. And here I picked Uprooted by Naomi Novik. So I know I'm talking a lot about this book because I really enjoyed it, but recently I was watching at my bookshelves and I was like, I saw this book and I was like, how does this book end again? And I can't remember how these books end, even though I loved it and it was really amazing, I remember. So now I think I'm good to reread this book because, like, how can I not remember how this book ends? Like, how is it possible? I don't understand. So yeah, Uprooted. I really need to reread it now. Hate is Gorgeous, a book with a gorgeous writing style. Here I'm going with everything Ransom Riggs writes. So I've only read the Miss Peregrine trilogy and The Tales of the Peculiar because it's the only thing he wrote. I haven't read these latest books, which is Map of Days. I think that's the title of the book. I don't really know. But anyway, it's not the point. I really love his writing. It's something I enjoyed a lot. His writing is really whimsical, and I know that it's mainly because of what the story is about. I mean, it's a fantastic story and it's has this sort of gothic mood to it, so I really enjoyed it, and Ransom Riggs' writing is really serving that, so I really enjoyed it. 9 is Getaway Car, your favorite love triangle. I don't know, like I don't really know if I love love triangles, because I love writing love triangles. It's something I really enjoy to do, but I don't know if I love writing about them, reading about them. So I picked a book for recent, sorry, even though it's not really a love triangle and I don't really like it, but I like how it ends, and it's P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han. So this is the second book in the To All the Boys I Loved Before trilogy. And in the second book there is a huge love triangle that I don't really like, but it's still interesting to read it. No, it's not interesting, it's painful to read, but I love what it brings to the story and to the characters, and I actually really enjoy with like who Lara Jean ends up with because it's perfect. and I don't know, so yeah, it's I don't like love triangles, but I like how it is done in this story. Does it make sense? I'm not sure, but you have to go with that. 10 is King of My Heart. What character is the king of your heart or your favorite character of all time? Who owns my heart? I don't freaking know. Actually, I know, like, it's one of my fave, and I haven't talked about him in a while, so it's time for him to make his huge comeback, and I'm talking about Levi from Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. So Fangirl, if you don't know, if you're new to this channel, first, welcome. But second, Fangirl is one of my favorite books. The first time I read it, it changed. I don't want to say it changed me, but I really recognized myself in the main character, and it felt so good, and I don't know, it was just an amazing book, and I still love it so much. It will always be one of my favorite books. And Levi is like perfect. I love him so much. He's perfect for Kath, but he's just so cute. I love him so much. He owns my heart, truly and forever. Question 11 is Dancing with Our Hands Tied. A book that started off great but had a bad ending. Can I pick a series for this, because I have a perfect answer, because I'm going to talk about Divergent by Veronica Roth. I read the first book and I really enjoyed it. Then I read the second one and it was my favorite one. I loved everything that happened in this one. And then I read the third one and I almost didn't finish it. It was really lame. I'm sorry if you really enjoyed this book, but that's my opinion, so don't burn me at the stake. But I didn't enjoy at all the last book in this trilogy. I felt like it wasn't Veronica Roth writing, like it felt like she had totally forgot who her character was and what was their goals and everything, what they'd been through, and it was just a mess. And to be honest, what happened at the end, like the fact that she dies, made me so happy. I was like, finally she's doing something good, because the third book is just a mess and they're doing so many bad things, especially her, and I was like, finally you're doing something good, you stop being selfish. Basically this book really let me down, and I'm still mad about it sometimes. Like I think about it and I'm like, you could have been so good, but no, you are just so bad. Question 12 is Dressed, a new adult book you loved. Actually, I'm not reading new adult books. The only one I've read recently is a remix of Pride and Prejudice. I could mention this one. It's called Prejudice and Pride, and basically it's Pride and Prejudice happening in the 21st century, and the gender roles are reversed. So Darcy is a girl and Elizabeth is a boy. She's called Bennett. Bennett. And yeah, it's basically their story. It's really interesting and it was really good, really enjoyable, and I mean, it was about Pride and Prejudice, so I loved it. So question 13 is This Is Why We Can Have Nice Things, just parenthesis, but this is one of my favorite songs on the album, maybe even my favorite song, parenthesis close. A book that made you want to break everything you own. I'm going to go with a book that I don't have on my shelf anymore because I got rid of it, and it's King's Cage, or what's the next one? Warstorm, no, that's the last one. King's Cage? No, King's Cage is the third one. Yeah, Glassword, yes. Was it King's Cage? Yeah, it was King's Cage, I think, or maybe the one before. I mean, the second and the third book of the Red Queen Quartet really made me want to throw everything, like to just throw the book away, because once again it was a letdown. The first book, Red Queen, was really amazing. I really loved the concept and the characters. No, I didn't like Mare. Wrong. So I liked some of the characters, and it was really promising. But then the second book was here and it was meh. And then the first book was, oh my gosh, I'm never going to read the fourth one. And I never read the fourth one, so you see? So yeah, Meh was really a bitch, and I didn't like her at all from the beginning. So reading about her for 3 books is just like reading Throne of Glass. It's just really something that hurts me, like, because I don't like those characters and I don't like the stories anymore. So yeah, while I read those books, so Throne of Glass or the Red Queen series, I wanted to throw everything and sometimes also to throw up. Once again, I'm sorry if you love it, but I don't, so don't kill me. I'm nice most of the time. Question 14. Call it what you want. A book title you would have called something else. I'm going to go with Anna and the French Kiss, because this book, I love it, okay? I read it 3 or 4 times already, and it's just so cute and so cheesy. It's everything I love, and it's happening in Paris, so I love it so much. But the title, like, am I supposed to read this in the subway when there is freaking written Anna and the French Kiss with a heart and it's pink? Nothing. Like, I can't read this without people judging what I'm reading. And I know I shouldn't care about people, like, what they think. But the thing is that I do when this is freaking happening. So yeah, like, change the title. I don't know, call it something else, even though the title is part of a story, but still, like, find something else. I don't know, like, I don't know what, but Hannah in Paris. Or is it a bit worse? I think it's worse, I don't know. But change the titles of his books. And last but not least, question 15, New Year's Day. A book that you finished but stuck with you the next day and for your life. So just to be clear, for these questions I could have picked Percy Jackson or Narnia or Harry Potter or even Pride and Prejudice, because these are books that I read a long time ago and that shaped me as a reader and that I will always remember and who will always have a special place in my heart. But here I went with Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. So if you don't know, this is the conclusion to the Hunger Games trilogy, and a lot of things are happening in this book, and a lot of people are dying, Prim is dying. And when I first finished reading it, I was in a state of shock. I didn't really realize what was happening, and that I had just finished it and that there were no books coming, that it was the end. So it made me sad, but also all those people who died, I couldn't really believe it. I was like, this can't be the end, something must happen, like, it's not really the end, like, but it was, and it was really amazing, even though it hurt. So okay guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like this video, but also to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of me. Tell me in the comments down below, I don't know, tell me what you want. Like, we can talk and it could be amazing, I know. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye guys!